G'day all, I'm Graham Sanders and I live at Townsville, North Queensland. That's where latitude 19 crosses the east coast of Australia. This is the last in my management series on both Tetragonula Hawkinsii and Tetragonula sapiens, giving you a full 12 months of the things to do in the tropics. And on that date, it's the 1st of August. Temperatures, well, they're just starting to warm up now. We've got maximums definitely in the 27s, creeping 28. Minimums now leaving the 15s and getting up to about 17 degrees at night. And it's only for a very short time, so everything's warming up now. And with the weather warming up, what are the things to do? Well, basically, you're preparing your bees for the upcoming hot dry, then the build up, and then the wet. So there are a number of things to do. And the very first thing to do is to assess your hives for honey harvesting. Now's the time to harvest your honey. They've gone through the cold period. Any surplus honey in there you can harvest, and you're beating the pests before the pests get up into speed. So you can safely harvest your honey knowing that the pests don't necessarily are going to be a problem. That said, I'm still killing cyprid flies because it's been a rather warm winter and they haven't gone that dormant. Speaking of the honey harvest, we've been in drought for the last 12 months and that's showing on my bees. I've already harvested some honey and I've only got a couple of litres out of my hives, which is basically shocking. But that shows you with the lack of water, production is definitely down. So, what to do? Well, there's a couple of things to do because the season's warming up. So, I'll get this bizzo here, hang on a second. And the first thing to do is to get prepared for any inductions. So, this is the concrete hive of the sapiens. As you can see in the picture, I've had a successful eduction over winter of the sapiens. So I've got two separate hives going now, and both are okay. They're just coming out now. And the point being that now's the time to get ready for another induction in the next month as the temperatures warm up. For sapiens, once it gets above 18 degrees minimum, steady, you can do another induction. So you've got to be ready and set up for that induction. That hose is just to hold the camera steady. So, there it is, an induction hive, and I will be doing a montage on sapiens over the next couple of months. So, get set up and get ready for inductions. The second thing to get ready for is capturing swarms. Now, once the weather warms up, native bees will start swarming, and you'll either get colonising swarms or attacking swarms. So have some hives ready to go. So down here you'll see a concrete block. Well, that's just an empty concrete block. See it there? Yep. Haven't seen an empty concrete block before. You're living a poor life. I've ground a hole at the bottom there, as you can see. That's ready for a swarm capture. If I get a colonising swarm. Here's another one. A bit different. It's a clay pipe. I've made a fancy lid for it. It's just an empty pipe, as you can see there. And that's going to be for swarm capturing as well. Possibly for sapiens. You'll see a little hole that I've drilled in there. And, God, I'm too old for this. And you can see there, access there. And I've got a bit of pipe in there ready to go if I need it for various reasons. Anyway, I've got hives ready to capture swarms, and so you should be getting your hives set up. I've got others out the back too, empty boxes for capturing Hawkinsii. These two are, well, the concrete block is either for Hawkinsii or sapiens. This little bugger here is to capture any sapien swarms that might come along, just sitting there as a spare. So get your hive, empty hives ready for capture as the weather warms up. What's the last thing we can possibly do? Well, the last thing we could possibly do is make sure our hives are ready for the upcoming season and to make sure they got supers and everything else. In my Sapiens hive that we're looking at, it needs a honey super on top, and we're going to put one on now just to set it up, because that's a very strong hive. I'm sure you can see bees going in and out, so I'm going to add a honey super to that now, ready for the warmth. So let's quickly do that. Let's stand in front of the hive just to upset every bee known to mankind. Okay, so we'll get in here, crack him open. You've seen in here before, but just to show you that you do these sorts of things. Oh, there we go. Nicely sticking together. You've seen that hive body before. For those who don't know, 2 storage chambers, brood, honey super on top. And this is the honey super we're going to replace or put on here. And what this is nothing more than 2 of my normal honey supers, which I've worked out you put face to face. So I don't know if you can see in there, the hole goes through, but there's a nice cavity in there, and that's going in below this honey tray, and I'll show you what a honey tray looks like. But it's 2 face to face, flat edges, has a cavity in there. The whole idea is I can just pull this off, pull them apart, and extract the honey. So there, that's got to go on now, because this beehive is ready for that. So if I can get into this, there we go. Pop-O-Matic is done. This hive just goes straight in over the top. I do like these modular designed hives. They just work so damn bloody good. So that's on there now. You can see there what it looks like. It's just a tray. But I found a tray like that, while it attracts the bees, it's not perfect. But by putting it face to face, it becomes perfect. As usual, bees won't like this too much, so we will get this all done nice and quick and put it back together. I put that tray on top just as a visual aid more than anything else. So on this Sapiens hive, which I've just done now, I've added my first honey super for the bees, because that hive is so strong, so good, nothing more to do on that. So that hive is now ready for the upcoming season. First lot of honey supers, I've got room for at least another 2 stacks on top of that, which will probably fill out nicely. And that's what we're doing. I'll try that again, tongue-tied. Prepare your beehives for the upcoming season, and be prepared for swarming, and be prepared to do an induction if you wish to do an induction. There we go. Oh, and honey harvesting as well. I forgot about that.